There was a comfortable couch next to the living room window, and we would sit there and drink iced tea in the summertime. Listen to the cars go by like we can hear here this afternoon, and she might tell me a story. She told me of things that she had done when she was a girl. One I particularly liked was the story of how she went to Wrightsville Beach with a group of friends. I was 16 years old, Ellouise. I was working down at Ivy's department store. It was hot in Charlotte that summer. It was so hot, and we wanted to go to the beach. But in those days, young women could not make a trip like that to the beach on their own. That was 1904. You couldn't go without someone with you. So we sat in the lunchroom at Ivy's one day and talked about how we'd like to go down there. There were a bunch of us, maybe 4 or 5. And we settled on Miss Annie Gross as the right person to ask to be our chaperone. She was just exactly the right woman. She was a milliner there in the store. She was a responsible woman, a fine, upstanding, church-going spinster lady. She was respectable. And we could go there and there would be no scandal. Well, Miss Annie agreed. So we started out and we went down on the train to Wilmington, North Carolina. It must have taken us 6 hours on that train. And when we got there, we had to take an electric trolley out to the beach. We got off at Station 1 and walked over to the place we were going to be staying, the Kitty Cottage. Why, it was a grand old white house with a porch that wrapped all around it. And as we walked up to it, there were white rocking chairs all around that porch. And people were sitting out there drinking their iced tea, rocking back and forth, talking to each other, feeling the cool ocean breezes and having a good time. This was gonna be really good. We went in and changed our clothes for dinner. We had dinner in the big dining room. I looked so fine, Ellouise. I had on a new dress. It was all flowery with a lot of skirts that just floated around me. And after dinner, we walked down the boardwalk to the Lumina. Now, the Lumina was a big place. Big dance hall. They had a large bulb in the ceiling that rotated. It had mirrors on it and it shot light all over that room. And there was a dance band at the front and they had live music. Well, I'll tell you, the young men that were there, oh, did they look fine. They had on white trousers and blue blazers and they looked so smart. And they would come up just as polite as you please and ask you to dance. Why, we were having the best time. And then Miss Annie would say at about 10:30 that we had to go back, that it was time for us to go in. Now that happened the first night and the second night, but the third night, why, we were having so much fun that when Miss Annie came and told all of us it was time to go back to the hotel, to the Kitty Cottage, we weren't ready, but we had to go back. She was our chaperone. So we walked back down the boardwalk to the Kitty Cottage. We went up the long stairs upstairs to our rooms. The 4 girls were sharing a room. Only 4 of us had gone, and Miss Annie had her own room. She went down to her room, and we went to our room. And 2 of us, me and this other girl, decided we were going to go back and have some more dancing. So we put our clothes back on. We couldn't go down the stairs in case Miss Annie would hear us. So what did we do? We put our clothes back on. We stepped out the window onto the roof of the porch. And we walked down the porch to a trellis at the end. It was too high for us to jump. We hiked up our skirts and we climbed down that trellis. And we went back and we danced some more. After a couple of hours, We came back laughing all the way about how we had really fooled Miss Annie and she wouldn't even know or be bothered, and hadn't we been smart at what we'd been able to do. But I'll tell you, we were the ones that got the surprise. We walked up those wide big steps toward our bedroom, and there, sitting in a straight back wooden chair right in front of our bedroom door, was none other than Miss Annie. And let me tell you, she wasn't laughing. So I'll just tell you this right now, Ellouise, and she would turn to me and say, so some days, young lady, you're going to find out that you're not always as smart as you think you are. I hope you have wonderful memories of being with your grandparents when you were growing up. It was fun, wasn't it?